Welcome to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. I'm your host, Shannon Ables. And whether you're listening on your commute, exercising, working in the garden, or sitting down with a hot cup of tea or a cafe au lait, thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Welcome to the 184th episode of the Simple Sophisticate. Today we're going to talk about the holidays and my approach with regards to living simply luxuriously. I'm also, with regards to this week's petit plaisir, going to share with you a movie you might want to stop into the theater to watch if you're so inclined and have similar taste as, well, me. And you may not, but I'll explain why you might want to go to the movie. How are you doing? This week in the United States, we'll be celebrating Thanksgiving. And unofficially or officially, or however you want to look at it, the holiday season begins. Now, there's all sorts of different approaches to the holiday season. They can be glorious and overwhelming at the same time, magnificent and demanding, joy-filled and draining. And since the holidays of Thanksgiving for Americans and a handful of religious and non-religious commemorations will take place in December for people around the globe each year, it is best, I think, to navigate an approach that enables the annual celebration to be something to anticipate with excitement. And in order to do that, we need to curate an approach consciously that works for us. It will be, for me, 3 times this Thanksgiving that I have enjoyed either this turkey holiday or Christmas in a very unique fashion, according to some, on my own. Each time in the past, it was a choice, and each time it was an opportunity to explore or to take part in something or a way of life that I had not, at that point in my life, experienced before. Now, as a teacher, there are few times besides the summer months in which a vacation is allowed, and so I have become more and more inclined to use the week off that we get for Thanksgiving, as well as the 2 weeks that wrap up the end of the year and then begin the new year for traveling, exploring, and relaxing. My approach is unique, as I have 2 furry children who will gladly celebrate the exploration of their stockings any day of the month, or not at all, as a calendar is not something they fuss over. And while I do have family and friends I enjoy visiting, I enjoy more intimate opportunities to spend time with them over the course of the year. I don't need a date on the calendar to make that happen that everyone else will be partaking in at the same time. Now, don't get me wrong. Sitting down to gather with loved ones over a festive meal is something I not only enjoy being invited to, but also being the curator of and sharing and giving to others. But I am also very much appreciative of the opportunity to take the hype and the expectation of the have-tos and instead cultivate an authentic experience with people I enjoy spending and losing track of time with. Whether that's on the 25th of December, the 4th Thursday in November, the 1st or the 31st, however you celebrate the New Year, the New Year's Eve. If it happens to fall on those dates, great. But I have spent too many forced, perfect, and I'm putting air quotes up, Thanksgivings that weren't that enjoyable, as well as New Year's Eves that have been far from enjoyable. And then on the flip side, having enjoyed many amazing moments doing things that most people say, why would you do that? And either began the year on the most glorious footing or spent a Thanksgiving trying out new recipes no one would ever expect on the turkey day. And it made me realize that the holidays really are up to us to craft, to curate. And I know, like I said, that I don't have as many different people in my immediate household to work with. But even then, I have a feeling that you have very similar interests and values. Not everyone. And there's something that we can all do to make sure that we all enjoy the holidays and don't feel forced to do something that just doesn't bring us joy, or maybe it's even uncomfortable. So, with today's episode, I was inspired by the goal of cultivating a holiday season to eagerly look forward to and revel in from mid-November through the 1st of January each year. I came up with a list of 16 ideas for making a pleasurable holiday season. So, let's get started. Number 1 is probably what you would expect. Create your own traditions. As an adult, you may remember holiday traditions you loved with your family or with your friends or with your community, and maybe a few you begrudgingly went along with. However, now you're an adult, so why not reconsider what you want to do and what you have to do? And remember, there is such a thing as doing things by habit, and until we stop and consciously look at them, realizing we don't have to do this anymore. Let's do this differently. A few years ago, I wrote a post about traditions to follow or not to follow, and I'll include the link on today's show notes to take a look at, because there is something valuable and lovely about traditions, but sometimes there's also reasons that we need to let them go. And if you want to look into that, I'll provide that link, as I mentioned. So that's number 1, create your own traditions. Number 2, ease into the season. I don't know about you, but I love fall. And I don't want the holidays to come until it's time for the holiday season. So if the festive season of ho, ho, ho comes to begin far too early for you, like it sometimes seems to be for me, I mean, at the end of October, I was already seeing holiday red, green, and white in the grocery store and in different shops. And I was like, no, not yet. I will. Don't worry. Get excited. But I'm not ready yet. I'm still enjoying the foliage, walking in the leaves, enjoying the crisp rains. Then if that's the case for you too, set your boundaries and gradually ease into the celebrations. Maybe there is a particular time when holiday music feels, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Let's play it. Or the first holiday film can be viewed. And as a way to build anticipation, make each occasion a special one. For the first holiday movie of the season, plan a feast of comfort foods shared with close family and friends. And this in itself could be a new tradition that you start. So that's number 2, ease into the season. Number 3, try one new decoration idea. Just recently, Michael of Inspired by Charm, if you follow his decor blog, shared with his Instagram followers a how-to guide of how to decorate one's holiday tree with ribbon. It was very helpful, very specific, and very visual. And I'll provide a link to his Instagram account. It was on his stories, so it has since expired, but you'll be able to see some pictures on his Instagram. And if you go to his blog, you can definitely search out his trees. He does a fantastic job with trees. In fact, did you know that one of his holiday trees made the cover of Better Homes and Gardens this year? So excited for him. Anyway, if this is something you've always wanted to try, go ahead and give it a shot. Trying something new is a challenge and an adventure, and who knows what new memories and traditions it will inspire. So that's number 3, try one new decoration idea. Number 4, find a wood-burning fireplace and enjoy sitting next to it. Whether you are fortunate enough to have a wood-burning, crackling fireplace in your home or not, make a date at least once, but if you're me, I want many, many, many more to snuggle or sit next to and enjoy either engaging conversation or a book you cannot wait to dive into. So that's number 4, find a wood-burning fireplace. Number 5, locate warm gloves every day. Now, this is one of those basic things, but for me, if my fingers are cold, I mean, I guess you could do the same thing with your ears or your head, but if my fingers are cold, I'm not going to enjoy walking out in the snow or out at the freezing temperatures. So just make sure that you have very comfortable gloves that you would wear to every day, not just those big bulky ones, but ones you would wear to work when you're driving your car, or ones that you might wear when you're walking your dog. Now, the best part about shopping for gloves is that they're the easiest item that we wear to try on. We can really quickly slip them on our hands and figure out exactly what fits best. So take some time to do that. Number 6, follow Peter Mail's example. Now, you may be saying, what the heck are you talking about, Shannon? His house is in Provence. how he writes about France. How's that do with the holidays? Well, if you've read his A Year in Provence, the book that catapulted him into the libraries and living rooms and bedrooms, if you're reading it before you fall asleep, about his first year in Provence with his remodel and his wife in Luberon, you may remember what he did a few weeks before the holidays in Luberon, Provence. He threw an afternoon soiree for his workers as a means to motivate them to finish in time for the holidays. But it was the fact that he had it at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I thought to myself, well, that's a great idea. So even if you set it late in the morning, early in the afternoon, it gives you time to prepare in the morning, but then you also have the evening to relax and savor the gathering that you've just organized without worry of the roads, darkness, or freezing temperatures at night for your guests. That's number 6. Number 7, take a walk through the neighborhood to enjoy the lights. Instead of hopping in your vehicle, even if you live far away from the neighbors who have lights, park your car in a parking lot if you have to drive closer to them. If you don't, just walk outside your front door and stroll the streets with a friend or your partner. Just walking along, all bundled up, is a reminder to slow the pace of life down, take in the festive sights, and become infused with the holiday spirit. I also like doing this in the downtown of the towns that I've lived in and live in, because usually they have all sorts of nice holiday decorations. The shops are open and people just seem very jovial, and often there's music playing out on the streets that's holiday. You just can't help but get in the holiday spirit. So get out of your car, walk, bundle up, make sure you're really warm, and then slip into, if you're downtown, slip into your favorite little coffee shop for a nice little cup of hot cocoa or spiced rum or something. So number 7 is take a stroll through the neighborhood to enjoy the lights. Number 8, keep the tree decorations simple. The boxes upon boxes of holiday decorating may be appealing to some, and at least some decorations for my home are a must to remind me each morning when I wake and afternoon when I arrive home that it is indeed the holidays, a special time of year. But too much decorations, for myself this is, can become overwhelming and turn the holidays arrival into a chore. Keep it as streamlined yet as festive as you wish, and don't feel bad for not putting out that set of reindeer that you feel you have to. Remember, you're designing a holiday approach that enables you to enjoy the holidays that you are celebrating. So that's number 8. Now, a quick word from our sponsor for today's episode. Owning quality clothing, well-made clothing, is an investment, and I have particular designers and brands that I trust, but I would prefer, if it's possible, not to pay full price. Today, I would like to introduce you to an online destination called swap.com. Swap.com is the world's largest online consignment and thrift store. With swap.com, you can save up to 90% off retail prices on your favorite brands like Lululemon, J. Crew, Nicole Miller, Talbots, Calvin Klein, and White House Black Market. With 6,000 to 10,000 new items added daily, you will have endless options to shop, and if something doesn't fit, you can enjoy hassle-free returns within 30 days, no questions asked. Now, as a Simple Sophisticate listener, not only will you save up to 90% off retail prices, but you can also save 40% off your first order with code SIMPLE40 through November 30th. And you'll also receive free shipping for orders that are over $10. So visit swap.com and don't forget to enter your special code SIMPLE40. That's swap, SWAP.com, and the code is SIMPLE, SIMPLE 40. All right, welcome back to our list of ways to create a simple and pleasurable holiday season. Number 9, keep the tree small. For the first time last year, I purchased a 3-foot tall tree, and the ease and pure pleasure it brought to my weekend when I had put it up and decorated it was a change I am going to be adhering to for some time. I still paid careful attention to the ornaments and the ribbon, and I still strung up white lights, but I saved some money and experienced no stress whatsoever trying to put it up and make it stand straight. Now, I include a picture of that from my Instagram feed on today's show notes if you would like to take a look. So number 9 is keep the tree small. Number 10, learn a new holiday recipe. So many delectable, amazing recipes abound around the internet, and especially during this time of year. As well, our family and friends have recipes that we may be curious about, or they may introduce us to that we are just like, oh, can I please have that recipe? Which makes choosing one new recipe to try quite difficult. But similar to trying a new decorating idea, it is a fun challenge and adventure to look forward to each year. And hey, if it turns out, that's icing on the cake. So number 10, try a new holiday recipe. Number 11, shop Small Business Saturday. Make a habit of shopping locally as often as possible, and even on the designated Saturday after Thanksgiving here in the States called Shop Small Business Saturday. While yes, so much is available at the end of our fingertips as we peruse the internet, if we are able, why not build relationships with our neighbors as they work at their businesses and continue to strengthen the community that we call home? So number 11 is shop Small Business Saturday. Number 12, perfect a simple holiday cocktail. Last year, I came up with a super simple cocktail recipe that is a showstopper, simply not only because of its flavor, but because of its looks as well. I'll provide a link to that on today's show notes if you're interested. Whatever drink is your favorite, or you are looking for a favorite, always have the necessary ingredients. Once you find out what your favorite or one of your favorite holiday cocktails is, have them on hand for those last-minute holiday invites of friends that are visiting from out of town to add that extra little holiday touch. So number 12 is perfect a simple holiday cocktail. Number 13 is volunteer. Whether you are someone who enjoys stepping into the kitchen and serving a holiday meal to your local citizens in need of a warm meal, or you enjoy the ski slopes and can volunteer to tend to the local cross-country runs, which you frequent yourself, choose some way to give of your time as a way of showing gratitude and building a bond of kindness that isn't seeking anything in return. So number 13 is volunteer. Number 14, select favorite holiday comforts, such as films, music, candles, etc. Each of us has our holiday favorite comforts. One of mine is Charlie Brown's Christmas soundtrack. It is one of my favorites, hands down. So make sure to carve out time to savor these comforts as a way to deepen the appreciation for this time of year. Do you have a luxurious hot chocolate recipe that you save as a special treat only to be devoured during these last few weeks of the year? Put aside any guilt and indulge yourself. Being present in these moments of simple pleasures and comforts is a practice that we can take with us throughout the rest of the year. So number 14 is select favorite holiday comforts and indulge. Number 15, find time to read 1 or 2 books you've been curious about but haven't had the time until now. Last week, I shared a list of 10 books to enjoy on your holiday travels or vacation, from novels to nonfiction, even a cookbook as well. I know during this time of year, I savor those extra minutes to enjoy more of the books I haven't found the time to read up until now. So number 15 is find time to read more of those books you've been eager to dive into. And last but not least, number 16, let go of the myths and expectations of the holidays. The holidays are yours to make as you will. Choose to plan your calendar thoughtfully, knowing what you value, what is important, and most importantly, don't be afraid of saying no. Yes, we would all most likely agree the holidays have become far too commercialized, but we can change that with our habits. And our habits can change if we choose to do other activities that bring us the reward we associate with the holiday season: joy, contentment, love, and pleasure. I'll provide a few links of posts that I wrote recently in the past. One is about how to cultivate good habits, and the other is how to break bad habits. And it really is a mind trick that we do, as well as doing something repeatedly. But I read The Power of Habit, a book, this past summer, and I wrote a post based on what I learned. And it really does come down to we have to change what triggers us to do what it is we want to do. And then we just have to make sure there's a reward that we really do want to have happen. And that's why I mentioned, well, what is the real reward we're seeking here? And if it's number one, not getting us to those rewards, why are we doing it? Because I'm sure there's a few of those things we do. But if it is, and that's not a habit or a tradition we want to follow, then we need to shift it and redesign it with another outcome that is still as enjoyable. So that's number 16. Let go of the myths and expectations of the holidays. I recently shared with someone my plans for the Thanksgiving break that I talked about in the last episode of the podcast, which is I will be, and at this time that you're probably hearing this, if you're listening to this on Monday when this goes out to listeners, I am in England. And when I told them this, they immediately said, well, that doesn't sound like Thanksgiving. But their response exemplifies exactly what I've been talking about in today's episode. The holidays, Thanksgiving in this case, can and should be defined how we want them to be defined and celebrate how we want to celebrate them. But it is up to each of us to have the courage to examine why we do what we do and then allow ourselves or give ourselves permission to get excited about what works for us. I know that I am giddy to be in England right now and will be there when Thanksgiving rolls around. I hope you will be where you wish and hope to be as well. You can follow me on Instagram. The Simply Luxurious Life is the handle on Instagram, where I'll be sharing a few pictures and, of course, stories as well to take you along the journey with me. I do hope you have a wonderful kickoff to the holiday season all the way through to January 1st. And again, you can visit the show notes for the links that we talked about in this episode at thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast 184. Now, before I get to today's petit plaisir, I want to share with you a holiday opportunity for Simply Luxurious readers with a handful of the items that are available in the Simply Luxurious Life shop. All of the notepads, the shopping list, the to-do list, the live well, live simply list that is blank but with just a simple, all of them have an illustration by Inslee, but this is a simple blank notepad, as well as the planning pages and even signed copies of Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide. That book is all going to be 15% off when you spend $10 or more with promo code HOLIDAY15. That's all in caps, HOLIDAY15. And you just simply need to enter that code as you check out. And it's all available through Monday, November 27th. So if you're interested in the notepad packages or getting your planner set up, or you have a different size planner, because I have classic, compact, and personal size pages for you to download and keep forever and ever and ever. Or if you've been looking for a signed copy of the Simply Luxurious Life book or would like to give it as a gift, it is all 15% off through November 27th with holiday code HOLIDAY15. And I'll provide a link to all those destinations on today's show notes. All right, I'll be right back with this week's Petit Plaisir. This week's Petit Plaisir, well, I'll just get right to it. It's Murder on the Orient Express. Just recently, on November 10th, the new adaptation of Agatha Christie's 1934 crime starring Hercule Poirot hit theaters. Now, this new adaptation is directed and stars as Hercule Poirot, Kenneth Branagh, and critics are mixed on it. However, sales have been very high. Primarily, I would imagine, people know the story and they're curious. I mean, I love David Suchet as Hercule Poirot and his little gray cells that work their magic. And so I was really curious to see how Kenneth Branagh shifts Hercule Poirot and makes him his own. And part of the reason I also want to go is because I knew the ending. I'm not someone who likes scary movies. I like classics. I like beautiful settings and the aesthetics have to catch my eye as well. And the cast was just star-studded. If you know anything about the film, you know who I'm going to talk about. Well, first of all, you have Johnny Depp. You also have Penelope Cruz. You have Dame Judi Dench. You have Michelle Pfeiffer, Daisy Ridley, and William Dafoe. You have Leslie Odom Jr. It's a fantastic cast. Oh, and I also was excited to see that Josh Gad was also on this, who's known for his comedic chops, but recently he's been taking on a bunch of dramatic roles and just doing a great job. You may remember him from the Book of Mormon. Now, and also he was on Frozen as well. He was the snowman. But I thought it was done well. Now, there's not a lot of changes, so you're not going to get a different plot at all. There is a shift in characters. He does bring on Leslie Odom Jr. to diversify the cast, and they explain that away right off the bat. But, the Hercule Poirot that Branagh embodies is his own. It is his own. The mustache is its own character that in and of itself. It has its own sleeping case. You'll see that in the film. And the moments that I love the most and always love in the films about Hercule Poirot, they're not about Hercule Poirot, but he's the star, are when he's by himself, just enjoying his own company. In fact, there's a moment or a scene on the train as they're traveling before the murder has taken place, where the character, Johnny Depp, comes up to ask if he can sit down and talk with him. And Hercule Poirot responds, "I enjoy my time alone. This is lovely." So he doesn't say, "No, you can't sit down," but he makes a note to say, "I'm not lonely. I'm really enjoying my own company." And he's enthralled with Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities, and the laughs, I should say, that he shares as he's reading are just delightful. So if you're looking for a thoughtful film that doesn't exceed expectations, but meets them, I think you'll really enjoy Murder on the Orient Express. Here is the trailer.
Would you mind if I join you? You're the world-famous detective, Hercule Poirot. Avenger of the innocent. Is that what they call you in the papers?
And you are innocent?
You're fun.
A passenger has died. He was murdered. The murderer is on the train with us now. And every one of you is a suspect. So, let us catch a killer.
A man was rummaging around my cabin in the middle of the night.
You are certain it was a man?
I know what it feels like to have a man in my bedroom.
What did you think of the dead man?
You leave her out of this.
Did he have enemies?
Pick a number.
The real killer is right here. One of you people.
We're surrounded by lies.
I'm sleeping here, where everyone can see me. And I can see everyone.
Who takes up the knife?
Cannot trust no one. Another one?
So if you enjoy mysteries and you enjoyed the Hercule Poirot series, you won't be disappointed in this. And you won't have any big surprises either to scare you out of your seats. It's in theaters now. Murder on the Orient Express. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Petit Plaisir, where each week ideas are shared to make the everyday all the more enjoyable. Tune in at the end of each Monday's podcast, where I'll recommend a book, a film, or a recipe, anything that is a simple pleasure to satiate your sophisticated taste. Thank you for tuning in to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. For more ideas and inspiration throughout the week, stop by the blog, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com, or pick up the book, now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon, as well as in paperback, Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide. To stay caught up on the most recent episodes of the podcast, blog posts, and to receive exclusive news as well as an extra dose of inspiration to start your weekend, subscribe to the Simply Luxurious Life's weekly newsletter, which arrives in your inbox each Friday morning to enjoy with a hot cup of tea or a hot cup of coffee. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Shannon Ables. À la prochaine.